are being introduced. Delroy James led him out, and boy, did he have a good game the other night. He led AEK in their win on opening night against San Lorenzo. Did so very impressively. A good, well-rounded performance from Delroy James. Just telling you, he had 15 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Jonas Maciulis didn't quite get it going, but what really made a difference the other day was the players from the bench. We saw a terrific performance from Malcolm Griffin, from Giannoulis Laurenzakis coming off the bench, and also from Dusan Sakura, who had 15 points as well, and was 6 of 11 from the floor with 5 rebounds. And you could almost argue as well that maybe Sakura was the most important player, because when he came in, he brought a sense of urgency to the cause. For AEK, they weren't out of first gear for the first few minutes against Austin Spurs, and it almost came back to bite them. They finally woke up and pulled away for a big win, 90-58. But in the early going, it was the team from the G League, the NBA G League, which actually got out to a fast start. And Coach Conti of Flamengo called a timeout, reminded his players they needed to have better execution on both ends of the floor. And they ended up outscoring Austin Spurs 20-15 in that opening frame, and then raced into a 15-point lead by halftime. Then they just removed any doubt about the winners in the third quarter, when again they outscored Austin 23-11. And for my money, the performance so far of this competition was turned in by Franco Balbi of Flamengo. He was terrific. You go back, and it was a highlight reel performance from the veteran guard from Argentina. Franco Balbi had 19 points. He was 5 of 8 from three-point range. That was him. You could see him warming up, and also had 6 assists. He had a sensational buzzer-beating shot before halftime, making it left-handed from three-point range. Referees tonight from Puerto Rico, Canada, and France: Roberto Vasquez, Michael Wayland, and Johan Rosso. And we'll also get a look at the rosters, starting with Flamengo, who are coached by Gustavo Conti. And your eyes are drawn to Anderson Verjao, number 17. Played terrific. Derek Ramos didn't miss a three-pointer the other night. And, of course, Balbi was sensational. Derek Ramos was 4 of 4 from three-point range. Marquinhos, you have to point him out, too, number 11 there. Kevin Crescenzi also in the starting lineup with Balbi. Carlos Olivinha, the veteran, and Anderson Verjao, who had the long career in the NBA, rather, and also is still a vital member of the Brazil national team. And Gustavo Conti, without question, one of the bright minds in Brazilian basketball. He's assisted the likes of Ruben Magnano with the Brazil national team, and I would guess at some point he's going to take the reins himself. But right now, that is a job held by Aku Petrovic. For AEK, Delroy James, Vasilis Xanthopoulos, Sakura, Sampouros, Maciulis, Laurenzakis, Demetrius Moraitis, Malcolm Griffin, Theodore, St. Bros, Vince Hunter, who really has been the top player for this team this season, certainly in the Basketball Champions League. Theodore came to life in the second half the other night. Sampouros got to play big minutes from the start, or at the start, for Coach Luca Banchi. Interestingly, he's put him in the starting lineup. And, of course, Jonas Maciulis will be looking to bounce back and have a better game than what he showed the other night. Jonas Maciulis, the longtime Lithuania national team player, who really adds a different dimension, I think, to this AEK team. They went out and they signed him in the summer, and the key for this for this AEK team, they think moving forward also is going to be how well Jordan Theodore kind of fits into the team. He's been a mid-season signing, and Jordan Theodore, of course, was the MVP, the former Seton Hall Pirate. He was the MVP of the Basketball Champions League in its inaugural season in 2016-2017. But a lot of big-time players in this game for both teams, and there's nothing quite like winning a title, halfway through the season, and it kind of sets you up nicely for the rest of the campaign. It happened last year for AEK when they won the Greek Cup, literally on this weekend, and then went on to win the Basketball Champions League and had a terrific campaign. And Flamengo, well, we remember what they did. They had that terrific year when they won the Liga de las Americas, the domestic title, as well as the FIBA Intercontinental Cup. So they want to get a big win in front of their home fans and to put it in that trophy cabinet. AEK obviously will have other ideas. They've brought a lot of fans all the way from Greece to cheer them on, so we should have a lively atmosphere here inside the Karaoke One, which was the arena for the 2016 Olympics. And the Flamengo fans have appeared to have taken up a lot of the good seats. Well, a little bit of the history. European teams have won the Intercontinental Cup 18 times, while teams from the Americas have won it 9 times. 8 of the last 10 Intercontinental Cups have been won by European teams. But perhaps the big difference here is we've got a Flamengo team that's going to be roared on by this passionate crowd, and they've got the wind in their sails, judging from how they played the other night. So this is an exciting time in South American basketball and in international basketball. FIBA Intercontinental Cup brings together different clubs from all over the world. There are 4 teams this year, and this is without question the showpiece event. Both of these teams winning convincingly on Friday night, and each is hungry to come out and get the win. There's the AEK fans. Again, they've come in really good numbers. You have to say a lot have crossed the Atlantic to come here, to be here tonight. It's a very sad time with Flamengo, with the fire at their football training ground, which claimed the lives of 10 youth team players. So a moment of silence, minute of silence for them. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. This is the final of the FIBA Intercontinental Cup. And it's between AEK in the gold and in the dark uniforms, Flamengo. And Marquinhos starts things off, missing from 3, and Jonas Mačiulis, the Lithuanian national team star, gets the rebound, goes all the way down, and picks up the foul from Kevin Krasinski. And this is what we're used to from Mačiulis: rebound and run. He will play that Lithuanian style of basketball. Exciting, full court, pushing it quickly, and already earning a trip to the free throw line, where he makes the first one. He played in the Intercontinental Cup with Real Madrid. And he makes that one. So, good start for Maciulis. And Balbi penetrates, tries to get to Verjao, knocked out of bounds. Maciulis was at the Intercontinental Cup in 2015. Olavinha. Ball batted back outside to Marquinhos, who steps into it. And Flamengo have the lead. When Maciulis played in 2015, that was in Sao Paulo. And Real Madrid won that one over Bauru. Now the miss, and here's Balbi. Hands it back to Olavinha. And the finish wasn't quite there, but almost a highlight reel play. Yet another one from Balbi. Theodore's pass goes off the hands of Maciulis. Wonderful atmosphere here in the Carioca 1. And Banchi already slapped with a technical foul. Some referees, if you're not used to, if they're not used to you and you're not used to them, maybe you need to feel them out. So Banchi can't afford another one. Not how he wants to start the game. It's pretty unusual to see a technical foul called that early. Gosh. Balbi, good for three. Boy, how stunningly good is he? I say to Coach Sergio Hernandez, get him in the team. Let's see him in the World Cup qualifiers. There's Theodore, dumps it off. And Vince Hunter, I think it was going in. Maciulis got his hand on it. See who they give that to. Well, they give it to Maciulis. Crescenzi. He was open. St. Rose, the Cuban board, Howard St. Rose. And now Theodore explodes to the basket. Cuts that deficit back to 7-6 for Ike. Seems to have awakened at halftime on Fridays. A different player now, Jordan Theodore, kind of feeling his way into this Ike team. He was such a dominant player for Banvit. And last year he was with Milano. Anderson Verjao, and Flamengo take too much time. So Theodore walks it up the floor. Interesting matchup between Theodore and Balbi. There go Balbi. Gets a hand in the face. And Marquinhos, gets it outside now to Balbi. And he charges into Theodore. Well, that was just a little careless by Franco Balbi. Theodore just established position and just waited for him to spin into him. Both of these teams have very good benches. And you could almost argue that the bench that the bench players coming from AEK could easily start. Just wonder if they might have a slight advantage in that department. Sampouros gets it to Maciulis. Oh, Maciulis is playing his best tonight, folks. Could be good news for AEK, who've taken the lead. Vergel asked for the pass. He really had his way on opening night, Vergel. Here's Marquinhos. He struggled a little bit early, almost a steal by Olivinha. But then Vergel really started to be the point of attack before Balbi really started going. Interesting matchup with Hunter. Big opportunity for Vince Hunter. St. Rose over to Hunter on the baseline. Chris Balbi with the rebound. Again, it's a great atmosphere in the Carioca One, which was the venue for the 2016 Olympics, the Olympic basketball tournament. Marquinhos into Olivinha. Vergel follows, puts it up and in. St. Rose follows up his miss. Marquinhos gets it out to Balbi. Good! He just plays with so much confidence. It just looks like the ball's going in. Look, he's 2 of 2 already from three-point range. He is absolutely on fire in this Intercontinental Cup. A foul has been called. Remember, Balbi hit 5 of 8 three-pointers on opening night. He had 5 first-half three-pointers. Crescenzi called for the foul, so that brings now Nesbitt into the game. St. Rose and Vergel there for the board. Oh, what a pass! Oh, put it on the highlight reel! Goodness me! The great Franco Balbi, watch this. He is just doing everything right now. He's hit 2 threes, and now he's showing his magician-like ability with his passing. And Anderson Vergel completes the three-point play. Sakura has come into the game for AEK. The drive, and Vergel blocks it. Now Marquinhos dribbles up the floor, and his pass went through the legs of Nesbitt. Should have been an easy bucket for Flamengo. Verjao passes it back outside, or excuse me, the pass goes back outside to Theodore. Hunter with the pass. Boy, what a game we've got. What an atmosphere. What a great FIBA Intercontinental Cup this looks like it's going to be, this final. And there for the tap was Anderson Verjao. Oh, nice move from Theodore over to Howard St. Rose. And Ike and a little bit of bother right now. Flamengo asserting themselves. Krasinski goes out. Marquinhos goes out. But Dirk Ramos comes in. Remember, he was 4-4 from three-point range of the night. You can't leave him open. Meanwhile, Yanulis Larentzakis, the Greece international, comes in. For Ike. And Verjao's pass goes over the head of Jonathan Dos Santos, who's also come into the game. Theodore spins, gets in, backs outside, Larentzakis. Now Balbi. Oh, Dos Santos walked, he dragged his foot. Julius to Sakura. Good! The three-pointer. Well, you know, Sakura can live out there and make three-pointers like they're layups. Took in this man, Ramos, but he misses with his first attempt. Quick pass, Hunter for the two-handed jam. Ike go back in front. Zakas comes out and fouls Ramos with 1:07 remaining in the third quarter. That was big bad Vince Hunter. And now Malcolm Griffin checks into the game. Plenty of weapons for Ike. Verjao almost lost it, hands it off to Dos Santos, gets it back. And Verjao very alertly tips it in. He was worried about the 3-second call, which is why he kind of pushed it up quickly. Flamengo back in front. Theodore now for three, and Verjao, another board for him. They'll take it down as far as possible. Shot clock on the right of your screen. No, Bobby's just going to go all the way, but he's going to miss it. How does a man who can make such dazzling plays like him then miss a layup? It's a crazy game sometimes. Now Theodore. Alley-oop, oh, beautiful play. Theodore to Hunter. And that's how the quarter finishes. Ike lead it 20-19. Well, Ike 6 of 11 inside the arc, 2 of 7 from deep, and Flamengo 4 of 9 inside the arc and 3 of 8 from deep. Both teams have hit a couple of free throws from as many attempts. Leading the way, scoring-wise, Jonas Machulis, although he had that shot blocked. He's got 6 points. And meanwhile, this man, Franco Balbi, has 6 points. Anderson Virgil has 9 points to lead all scores. Vince Hunter, that was one of his 2, and Vince Hunter seems to be waking up himself a little bit. Wouldn't say he had a great game the other night. Didn't have a bad game, just didn't have a Vince Hunter-like game. He's usually up in double-double territory. Delroy James has checked in, just hands it off to Theodore. Now Sakura's step back 3, good, another one. And now the bounce pass from Ramos ends up with Theodore, who decides to hold it up. 6 turnovers already for Flamengo, and Conti is up and pacing on the sidelines. Theodore down the lane, over to James, wide open, good! And Conti calls timeout. He sees Ike starting to pull away. He wants to nip it in the bud.
Fica com 2. Não os 2 ajudam. Esse de cima fica com 2. Tá claro isso? Agora, a gente tá dependendo bem. So stay aggressive. Okay? Let's go, guys. Let's go.
Well, you could have understood if Ike had started to wobble a little bit there the way Flamengo were playing. But they have come out strong and now lead at 26-19. Flamengo had led 17-13. So it's a 13-2 run for Ike right now. Virgil goes out. Dos Santos says, yep, I know what you're talking about. Mineiro comes into the game. Now, the early indications are that this Ike bench, they might have an edge with the bench, but then again, maybe it's too early to draw that conclusion. Ramos, his bounce pass batted away. Do not look comfortable on offense right now, Flamengo, and that's all down to Ike. Delroy James turns, goes up and scores with reverse layup. Boy, Monero was laid to waste on that one. Marquinhos, and the ball goes off of Marquinhos and back over to Ike. Alarm bells now starting to ring here in Rio de Janeiro. Theodore, shifty move. Laranzacas drives in, misses. Malcolm Griffin with the follow, unsuccessful. Either Balbi or this man Marquinhos needs to make a play here for Flamengo. And it's Marquinhos who passes down low to Monero. I mean, they really shot the ball exceptionally well on Friday night, did Flamengo, from three-point range. Now Zakas, misses the layup. Now quickly down low to Nesbitt. Two more from Flamengo. And now Bonke decides he needs to talk things over. It's a chess match here between the coaches, making adjustments. Points off turnovers for Ike, so that has been a huge part of their success. Well, I was just telling some colleagues, I really feel like both of these coaches, Bonke and Conti, are good coaches. They know what they want. If the game is not going how they want it to go, they will not hesitate to call it a quick timeout. Now let's see what type of adjustments Ike have made, and to try to stem the flow of points now for Flamengo, who have scored 4 in a row. And Griffin fouled as he gets closer to the paint. Fallon Rossetto, the backup point guard, is checked into the game. Sackett has been a weapon, so is this man, Theodore. Theodore fouled by Ramos. So 2 free throws coming for Jordan Theodore. Theodore wants a towel to wipe his hands off. Get rid of that perspiration. So here's Theodore at the line. After a rather long delay, and the towel obviously didn't make the difference with his free throw shooting. Second one is good. So slight delays. The referee goes over to the scores table. Now we're ready to start again with 6.5 minutes remaining here in the first half, and then the reach and the foul called on Griffin. Well, he was being hounded by two players there. James from the front and Griffin from behind. Big pass, and again a reach, and this time a foul again called on Griffin. Well, trying to exploit perhaps the size advantage, getting the ball to Mineiro. Here's Marquinhos. Griffin for three. Marquinhos grabs the board. Six-point lead for Ike. Marquinhos puts it on a platter for Verjao, but he ended up taking actually a slightly difficult shot. Now Larentzakis gets it over to Griffin. Thought of taking it right at Rossetto, but passes it back out. Now James, pump fake, gets inside, hands it off to Larentzakis, or Machulis rather, who misses. And probably a shot Machulis should have made. Marquinhos fouled from behind, and Balbi, both Flamengo wanting the unsportsmanlike. Oh, yeah. Could have been possibly called there on Sakura. Wasn't playing the ball. Rossetto's pass intercepted by James. And then James, oh goodness me. Looked like he'd run out of real estate, like he was going to have to slow it up, but he went all the way and then managed to score and draw the foul. Maybe he's got his eyes on the potential MVP award. Eight points for James coming off the bench.
Only played 5 minutes. Now Verjao catches it. Foul before the shot on Machulis. That's foul number 4.
Oh, the pass, and Verjao, a little bit of a breakdown there on the inbounds, and Flamengo get an easy one.
Here's James again, over to Machulis. Well, Machulis started well, but this is that one, and now again a chance for Flamengo. More than happy to take some time off the clock, run their offense. Xanthopoulos into the game, Vasily Xanthopoulos, and steps in and intercepts it from Balbi. 10 turnovers, that is a big number. Still with 4 minutes to go, Sakata for 3. So that was not a foul. Not sure what the call was there. But anyway. Dos Santos. Good defense from Machulis. That's why you got to make that bounce pass. 11 turnovers now. And Santros goes hard to the basket and is fouled by Dos Santos. So any more fouls will put the opponent, will put each team on the line. Lavinia trying to get his team fired up. He was in that team of Flamengo 2014 that won it. Marquinhos as well. Sangros. And Delroy James misses. Tough shot. Now Balbi. We pass to Verjao. He's going up against James. And he scores. Nice soft release. Verjao's playing well tonight, folks. 15 points. Sangros and Marquinhos with the rebound. Oh, beautiful bounce pass. And Ike get down on the ground, try to take it away. It's going to be a jump ball or possession. They're tied up. Yeah, you can see why Verjao thought that he had it. This competition dates all the way back to 1965. When they had a trial event. It was one and the ball intercepted. The trial event was won by Corinthians from Brazil. They beat Real Madrid, and it was an unofficial test tournament. Howard St. Rose has it. Then the next year, it was Ignis Varese of Italy that won it.
Oh, that's Jonas Maciulis from the corner.
And I go back in front now by 8 points. Their biggest lead has been 9. Verjao turns into Howard St. Rose. Ball goes out of bounds. Rossetto's going to check back in. Flamengo not finding it quite as easy as it was the other night against Austin Spurs. Timeout has been called. We're inside the final 2 minutes of the first half. Verjao thought he had 15 points. He's got 8 rebounds. He's almost on a double-double. He got 13 points, 8 rebounds. Silas Xanthopoulos getting some quality minutes. He had a great Final Four, Xanthopoulos, last year at the Basketball Champions League, which Ike hosted and won. They beat Murcia, UCAM Murcia of Spain in the semifinal, and then they won against AS Monaco Basket in a thrilling final in front of a raucous crowd in the Olympic Arena, OAKA in Athens. And here they are now in another big event. And Balbi, are they going to give it to Verjao? Well, coming right out of the timeout. Yeah, Verjao gets it. So he's got 15 points now. He may have a double-double by halftime. So the foul called on Verjao there, the push. So yeah, Verjao on that last trip not only got 2 points, but he got the offensive rebound. So he's got 15 points and 9 rebounds. Now the foul was called on David Rossetto, not on Verjao. So good minutes from Xanthopoulos. He will go out now and be replaced by Jordan Theodore. And it's back to an 8-point lead for Ike. Olavinha puts it on the deck. Tough move. It looked like he had nowhere to go, but he was able to get to the rim. First 2 for the veteran. Now over to Maciulis, and he's fouled by Marquinhos, so he puts Maciulis on the free throw line. And Maciulis causing all sorts of problems out there. He's helping in a myriad of ways. Look at the strength of Maciulis. He'd already hit that three-pointer, so Marquinhos had to get out on him, and Maciulis saw the chance to drive. And the great Lithuanian makes the first free throw. Makes both. In fact, 3-time Olympian, got 11 points. Also played a couple of World Cups. Machulis, good defense from Hunter. Quick pass to Verjao. Going to work on Hunter. Hunter just raises up, gets the block. Olivinha puts it up. Boy, Olivinha all of a sudden making some big shots to keep Flamengo in this. So Ike will now try to hold it for the last shot. Look for the penetration and the pass back out. It's going to be Theodore. Good!
What a way to end the first half for Ike and Theodore, who is well and truly alive now in this Ike outfit.
That basket makes it 42-33 in favor of Ike at halftime.
Well, it's impressive shooting, isn't it? 6 of 15 from deep, 8 of 17 inside the arc, 8 of 9 at the line for Ike. And their defense is not allowing Flamengo the flow that they so desperately crave. Flamengo are doing pretty well on the boards, but that's the problem right there. The turnovers for Flamengo, especially in that first quarter, have led to a lot of opportunities. 19 points off turnovers for Ike. So Machulis with 11 points, 3 rebounds. And it's 2 steals for Theodore. This Ike team is 20 minutes away from getting really experiencing one of the proudest moments in their history. So we are at the break, and as you look at this, just go over again some of the numbers for you here at halftime. Machulis now with 11 points, one of 2 from 3-point range. 4-4 at the line, 3 rebounds, a steal. Theodore is, he's got 9 points, 4 assists. Theodore James, 8 points. Vince Hunter, 4 points, a couple of rebounds, and a block. Interesting how he's not making quite as much of a sizable impact as he normally does back in Europe. Also, Sakura came in and socked it to him. He's got 6 points, 2 of 3 from 3-point range. For Flamengo, well, it's Anderson Verjao with 15 points and 9 rebounds. So he's, unless he doesn't come out for the second half, which I doubt, he'll end up with a double-double. Player they need to get going more perhaps is Marquinhos, and definitely they need something else. Somebody else has to step up, the likes of Ramos, who hasn't scored and he's only attempted 1 3-pointer. And again, the turnovers have been a problem for Flamengo, with Ike scoring 19 points off of those 12 turnovers for Flamengo. So at halftime, it's Ike leading it 42-33 over Flamengo. Enjoy these highlights, and we'll be right back for the start of the second half.
2 pontos, Rafael Mineiro. São 2 pontos mais.
42-33, Ike on top of Flamengo, and what's been a real, I would suggest, humdinger of a first half of the final here at the FIBA Intercontinental Cup in Rio de Janeiro. They've played, definitely, they've been the better team, and defensively, they've really caused some problems for Flamengo. Flamengo turning the ball over a lot, 12 times, and a lot of that leading to Ike's success. So it stands to reason if they can cut down on their turnovers and perhaps get a little bit more contribution from a couple of other players, they'll be fine. But that was an inopportune three-pointer made right at the buzzer by Ike Theodore that sent them off to the locker room up by 9 points. Inopportune for Flamengo anyway. But you know what? That's part of the game. You go to halftime, you make adjustments. And we'll see if Coach Conte can come up with something here that'll give his team a better chance to come from behind here. I mean, 9 points is, in the grand scheme of things, isn't that much. And they've also got the fans behind them, for the majority of them. But don't forget, there's a good contingent of Ike fans that have traveled all the way to Rio de Janeiro. What a destination that is. And they are enjoying themselves. Second half action underway here in the Carioca 1. And Ike starting with possession and looking to pour it on, and they do with Jonas Machulis, his second three-pointer of the game, his second corner three. So 2 consecutive three-pointers right at the end of the first half and right at the start of the second have doubled Ike's lead effectively from when they're up by 6. You can see I studied math. Zhao comes up high to help with the inbounds play. Now Ramos, and Nesbitt almost fumbled it away. And now Verjao throws it right into the hands of Theodore. And they turn it into a fast break to Sanros. Boy, it's been an awful last minute of live play for Flamengo. Giving up 8 points. And those turnovers are getting punished every time. Nesbitt comes down and drills the shot to get it back to 11. First three-pointer. Good defense, but the ball batted into the hands of Theodore. Now Hunter goes into Hunter mode, but Verjao alertly got in his way. And now Hunter called for a technical foul for mouthing off at Rosso, the French referee. Second technical of the game on Ike. Coach Bonke got one right at the start of the game. Balbi takes it inside, then gets it to Verjao. A little bit of life now for Flamengo. And again, Vince Hunter denied by Verjao. Sakura comes into the game. So Hunter goes out. It's been bizarre because he really has been their most consistent, their best player all season in the Basketball Champions League. But I guess sometimes matchups mean a lot, and Verjao, with all of his experience and his height and length, causing real problems for Hunter. Oh, what a block from Delroy James. Marquinhos. And just like that, Flamengo have clawed it back to 47-42. Sakura gets it over to James, passes up the open jumper to take the layup. Balbi. Now Verjao fighting for position, and Ramos. Boy, Ramos misses, gets it back. And Ramos hasn't been able to get his three-point shooting game going. Missed badly on that one. And chased it down. I know Conte's desperate for that man to get going. Derek Ramos, number 9. There's 14 Flamengo turnovers. They loom large. Verjao has to come out on Sakura because he knows he can shoot it. But he calls the switch, and this ends up with Machulis, who once again drains a corner three, the same spot. 17 points. And now he comes up, forces the turnover. But good alert play by Ramos to bat it back to Balbi. Theodore looking to double down and help. Verjao turns. He's had a monster game, really. I mean, he's doing everything he can. 19 points early in the second half, or midway through the third quarter. Not a bad return from your veteran center. Delroy James flashes it down low. Marquinhos saw it, and the ball went off of James. Good defense by the veteran Marquinhos. Dos Santos can hit a three-pointer. Maybe they can free him up, get him some space. He was pretty anonymous in the first half. Olivinha also in the game. Theodore really making a pest of himself out there. Balbi somehow gets away. Sakura reaches in though, knocks it away. Another turnover for Flamengo. Theodore pulls up and hits it. Boy, the points off turnovers is the big stat. Incredible. Flamengo called timeout.
Tá saindo coisa boa, mas o jogo tá 10 pontos ainda. Você pega a bola aqui na lateral. Se ele não te deixa pegar a bola, você entra no back door. A bola tá na mão do Anderson. Ele não te deixa, você veio aqui em cima, pegou. And fight! And in offense, we need to execute. Catch the call. Be aggressive with the screens. Let's go.
It's all working right now for Ike. You know, players are, with the exception of Hunter, really, you know, everybody's raising their game. And in terms of points off turnovers, 26 points, more than half of their points. Excuse me, just under half of their points. 26 points off turnovers. So that is a lot. And it could prove ruinous for Flamengo. Remember, Panathinaikos, they've only played in one Intercontinental Cup and they won it. Olympiacos as well. Panathinaikos in 1996. Olympiacos 2013, and now it's Ike. These are the only appearances by Greek clubs. And maybe Ike will keep that streak alive. And now a hold called on Sakura. Long way to go, but how about Machulis? 17 points for him. Quick pass to Verjao, over to Marquinhos, and did not get it off in time. Great defense by Ike. I mean, that is just tough. How is it possible? They had double teams on Verjao and then double teams on Marquinhos. They were not letting him get anything. Suffocation. St. Rose passed it up, gave it over to Theodore. That was on line, but it was short. And now Theodore called for a push on Balbi. Oh no, he tripped him up. Larzakis back in the game. Janulis Larzakis. Balbi for three. Boy, they were desperate for that. Perfect on the night. He has 8 3-pointers on the weekend with only 3 misses. 8 of 11. Theodore. Second miss in a row, but James there for the follow. Only one yellow shirt underneath, surrounded by Flamengo players. Look at this. And he came up with it. Olivinha fouled him. Thanks to the first one, he was 4-4 the other night against San Lorenzo. And he's 3 of 3 tonight. Minero back in the game. Hands it off to Marquinhos. That's his range. Zakis, he can shoot it. You got to keep an eye on him. He's going to penetrate over to James. Passes it back out. Good job by Olivinha, almost forcing the turnover. Sakura got it back and gave it to Theodore, who's going to have to put it up. He does, and he draws the foul on Balbi. Says he got him on the head. Rosetto comes in. There's Zhao back in as well. 12 minutes and 53 seconds left in the game. Still plenty of time, but Ike not really showing any signs of weakness. They're staying tough defensively. They're starting to rebound. $17 turnovers in the game for Flamengo, just 3 against Ike. That is the difference in the game. That and the points that have come off of those turnovers. $11 points now. The advantage. 13 for Theodore. 14 points is the biggest lead. Marquinhos, and he is fouled by Sakura. Big play. Marquinhos with 10 points. Sensing it's time to step up. Gets it back to single digits, and it's an 8-point deficit, 11 points for him. They've got to get stops, and they got to get rebounds. Or they got to force turnovers, which they really haven't been able to do today. Machulis, bounce pass, knocked away, or just got away from James. Rosetto. And it goes to Minero. Passes it back out. Marquinhos short. Nesbitt with the rebound. Marquinhos will try his luck again. Goes inside. Delroy James with the rebound. Well, the play was set up beautifully for Minero if he'd been able to catch it, but he didn't. And then it turned out to be kind of a scramble, and they had to rely on Marquinhos trying a difficult shot. Inside to James. Hands it off. Sakura was fouled. Boy, you've got to applaud James. I mean, he is doing everything. What a pass that was. And a great cut by Sakura. Dos Santos saying, I got all ball. The Ike captain at the line. Chulis takes a breather, goes out. Sakura misses the first. On the other hand, if you think about it, Flamengo, with all those turnovers, 17 points, and the points off turnovers, and yet they're only down by 8. So they might consider themselves lucky in that sense, but they trail by 9 after Sakura goes 1 of 2. And this has been an intriguing matchup here with Balbi and Theodore. There's Zhao. Gets it, goes in. Well, James gambled, didn't get it, so Verjao thought he'd go to the basket, but then he kind of rushed his shot and missed his, the Ike help defense got over. And Theodore just makes it look easy as he gets into the lane. 15 points for him. Fascinating to watch how some of these players for Ike have really stepped up tonight. Theodore and Machulis. Ramos for three. Boy, they are desperate for his offense. Ramos called for the hold. That is foul number 4 on Flamengo. It's tough to stop Theodore because he's got such a strong upper body. He's got those strong legs as well. And if he gets a step on you, you're not going to stop him. He knows how to use his body well. Ball's inbounded to him. 10 on the shot clock. Here's Theodore again. Calls the play. Explodes to the basket. They got to make a change because he's taking over. Look, he feels it. Just beat his chest, said, come on, let's do it. Rossetto drives in, good defense from Theodore, but then picking it up right at the end, Nesbitt. Nothing is coming easy, but in the grand scheme of things, that was huge because they need everything they can get right now to stay within touch of this Ike team. They got to figure out some things. One of them is how to slow down Theodore. 8 of 18 from deep, Ike, 13 of 25 inside the arc. Offensively, they are running like a well-oiled machine right now. And in truth, Flamengo, without those turnovers, their offensive numbers aren't that bad. It's just the turnovers are the real problem that's kind of created with Marquinhos has 4 turnovers. Dos Santos a couple. 3 for Anderson Verjao and 3 for Franco Balbi. Fourth quarter underway with Ike leading 63-55. And after that quick basket there right at the end to beat the buzzer by Rossetto, Flamengo start with possession. So an opportunity. But they have got to make inroads now. Vince Hunter back in the game guarding Marquinhos. And the hands up forces a turnover. Again, another opportunity. And they are going to count it. Larantzakis. They can taste it. Terrific catch. And he concentrated. 3 fouls on Rossetto. And the turnover game has been ruinous for Flamengo tonight. Great defense by Ike. And Hunter, who had checked back in, had a role in that one. So instead of having the ball and going in to cut it down to 6 or 5, Ike forced a turnover and add 3 more points to their lead. Ramos pulls up for 3. Great hustle. Look at the hustle from Theodore. There's a real battle for Flamengo. They may not face a tougher game all season than this. Marquinhos. Who's going to take the shots? What are they going to do? Ike. Well, Balbi almost lost it. And then he was trying to get it to Verjao, who was kind of nudged out of position by Sangros. And another great defensive stand by Ike. The drive and the finish is there. Larantzakis, 5 points in a row for him. Flamengo called timeout. They've got to try something different. Great numbers tonight, balanced, different people coming into the game, making immediate impacts. The latest, Larantzakis. Interesting with Ike, you know, last year they won the Final Four of the Basketball Champions League at home, roared on by the loudest crowd you've ever heard. It was amazing. But they don't have the benefit of that this year, even though they do have some fans here. Now they're in enemy territory at Flamengo, and Flamengo at home usually thrive with their crowd behind them, but this Ike team has been tough. Xanthopoulos took a little bit of a blow there from Dos Santos, holding his side. Now Balbi looking for some space. Gets it to Olivinha. Oh, Olivinha's going to have to throw up a prayer. Boy, this defense has been absolutely unreal for Ike tonight. Entry pass, Hunter put it up and missed it. And the bump called on Xanthopoulos on Balbi. Goes over and helps him up. Good sportsmanship. Gosh. Well, he was trying to play the ball. Knocked him out. Knocked Balbi over. Marquinhos has the ball knocked away, and it's going to be Sam Rose that goes down for the dunk. And that has been the way it's been all game long. Turnovers and points off turnovers. Dos Santos gets 2 back. But this AEK team just playing like they are not going to be denied today. Their defense has been spot on. Xanthopoulos perhaps early in the shot clock. Too early for AEK. For the coach's liking anyway. Olivinha now hands it off. They rotate it. Balbi. Just no space. Olivinha finally gets space, but did he take too long? No, he launches it. AEK cognizant of the fact that this Flamengo team wants to make the extra pass, and they're stepping in front of those stepping into those passing lanes, what have you. Leonard Zakas misses badly. Oh, goodness me. What a play from Balbi. Look at that. Bounce pass to Verjao. Lays it up and in with 6.5 minutes remaining. There's still time for Flamengo. It's a simple game. You got to get stops and you got to get points. But it's not easy to do either.
Hey, you know what we want to target. Let's execute. Execute. Hey, this offense is a flash up. Local flash up.
20 points for fast break.
Let's move the ball. Put the big in trouble.
Hey, second, what?
Força. Então, quando ele sempre a mesma jogada. Cruza outro e o alguém no meio. A hora que a bola virar, você fica perto dele pra jogar o pulo. Tá ficando longe dele. Fica mais perto. Tá ficando muito longe. Fica mais perto dele. Tá bom? Porque ele tá vindo.
Essa galera na arquibancada aí. 6 minutos e 23 segundos.
Double-double for Verjao. His team trailing by 11. He'd trade the double-double for a better scoreline right now, that's for sure. Sakura. Tough. Nine points for Sakura. They're just getting contributions from everybody. Olivinha. Even when they get the open looks, they're not going in. Sakura again. And Hunter with the rebound. The kind, friendly bounce goes over Verjao. Rosetto, hand in the face of Theodore. Doesn't matter. Jordan Theodore takes it up to 16 points. Not in the mood for a Greek drama tonight, it appears. Certainly not in the mood for a Greek tragedy. They are looking impressive as they've looked all season. And I hate to keep harping on it, but they've gotten so much from Hunter this year. And what's impressive now about AEK is they're getting it from everybody. Rebound. And look at that. Theodore just took the ball right away, but then it went out of bounds. Took it right away from Rossetto. Now Marquinhos. And boy, it's going to be a tall order now for Flamengo. It's like last-ditch effort here. But again, this is where Theodore is just so tough. He just takes time off the clock. You can't get the ball from him. Machulis drives. Balbi. Dos Santos. Flamengo getting some open looks from three-point range and not making them. Theodore goes right down the lane, and it is now looking very much like it's going to be Ike's title. The smiles with 4 minutes to go, they have been impressive. Homing in on their first FIBA Intercontinental Cup trophy.
O ataque é isso mesmo. Temos pouco de espaço, vamos atacar. Mais participação no rebote de ataque só. Não vai pegar, tenta tocar na bola, pelo menos, tá certo? Já chegar bloqueando. Chega bloqueando e vira na bola. Seja bem agressivo.
Remember, this is a tournament where you've had some wonderful players in basketball history that have really stood out, including the great Oscar Schmidt, and including Arvydas Sabonis. I mean, you've had some real legends. The legend Epi from Barcelona. A lot of wonderful players over the years have been in this tournament. A lot of wonderful teams. And right now, Ike, with that 18-point lead, are looking like they're about ready to put their name into the history books. It's going to take something special for Flamengo to call this back. They have basically, they have basically spoiled the party tonight. And it's been done with that defense. Balbi comes right out, short. And Santa Rosa's tied up. Possession goes to Ike. 17 for Machulis, 22 for Theodore, 12 for James. It's interesting if you talk about MVPs, you know, because it was kind of, I felt like tonight James and then Machulis kind of set the tone and helped them build the lead, but then it's been a lot of Theodore, who's just kind of like said, okay, you've handed me the keys now to the lead and I'm going to see you home. He's been terrific. Dos Santos reaches in and fouls Theodore, catches him in the eye, is going to help him up. 4 fouls on Dos Santos. Caught him with his right elbow. He's going to go check it out, I think. I don't think he wants to leave the court, well, the bench area. So he's going to get some treatment. And Banki's going to have to bring in, will it be Xanthopoulos or? He got him with the elbow right there. Wasn't intentional. They're going to look at it, though, to see if it was an unsportsmanlike. Beauty of instant replay these days. I can't see how from that angle they could call it an unsportsmanlike. Not from this angle. Nah. He's going for the ball. No way is that an unsportsmanlike. But I've been known to be wrong. Let's see what they say. Yep, they've called the unsportsmanlike. I guess they're calling it just because he caught him flush with the elbow. Dos Santos can't believe it. That's what he's telling him. He's like, listen, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it wasn't intentional. You caught him with your elbow. So it's not necessarily whether it was intentional. But anyway, Sakura goes to the line for Theodore. And what you don't want to do if you're Ike is lose Theodore to any type of injury when you're leading by such a huge margin. So it will be Vasilis Danthopoulos that comes into the game. And Machulis now takes a seat. Bounce pass. Over goes to Sandros. And there is Larzakis. Ike in celebration mode. We're seeing them in their full glory right now, that's for sure. It's interesting, you know, they don't have Kevin Punter this year. But a nice drive again. But you are starting to get the feeling that this Ike team may actually be better than last year's team. And that's saying something considering they won the Greek Cup last year and the Basketball Champions League. There's Sakura. They also had Mike Green last year. He's no longer with them. And Dimitris Mavroidis. But I suspect this this version of Ike is a little bit better. I think it is, from what I can tell. Also, they had Panayotis Vasilopoulos. But this version looks tough, especially with Theodore. Xanthopoulos now has turned his ankle. So that's not what you want to see if you're Ike.
Control the matchup. We have to fix the matchup. Hey! Watch out the full pressure.
Luca Bonchi is not stopping coaching yet, is he? Even though he's got the huge lead, the 20-point lead with 2 minutes to go.
A bola entrou aqui. Dobra, a bola entrou aqui, espera. Direciona eles pra lateral, espera. Tá bom? Se a bola entrar na lateral aqui embaixo. Não deixa ninguém ficar atrás de vocês. No pick and roll lá é trap agora. Essa é trap no pick and roll. Se a bola deles cair lá, se eles fizerem cesta, voltamos push depois. Tá certo? Agora é trap. Avança todo mundo.
20 points in 2 minutes and 8 seconds. I don't think it's going to happen, folks. I don't want you to go away, though. You want to see this to the finish, and then you want to see both AEK and Flamengo presented with their medals after the game. We already saw San Lorenzo get their third place medals, and also Austin Spurs get their medals for finishing fourth. Santa Rosa drives on the baseline, nails it. Pump fake. Rosetto misses. And now up ahead, another opportunity, and it goes out of bounds. Yeah, it was a relatively close game in this quarter. It's just gotten completely out of hand. They've been outscored 23-9. Rosetto makes the long one. Flamengo chasing now, trying to play this thing out hard to the finish. Make it look a little more respectable. Now they get the turnover. 3-on-2 break. Krasinski pulls up for three. Sandros catches it. And Machula steps over midcourt just in time. Well, we've seen it happen, folks. We have seen AEK, the club, reach new heights, really, the last couple of years. They are in some kind of spell. The Greek Cup last year, the Basketball Champions League trophy last year. Now they are about to win for the first time in their history, and only the third time ever for a Greek club, the FIBA Intercontinental Cup. And it has been convincing. This fourth quarter has just been a devastating knockout punch. Defensively, they just have been terrific. Look at that. Another block. Machula's blocked Krasinski, but he gets it back. Misses again. Dos Santos. And a three-pointer falls for David Nesbitt. So AEK have called timeout. And that seems to have upset Flamengo a little bit. Not sure what that's about. Why would you call timeout with 4.5 seconds to go? I guess you want to tell the guys, don't go anywhere. We got to stay on the court, maybe. See if we can listen in and see what Coach Bonke has to say. I'm not sure he's won too many fans, neutral fans here by calling this timeout. I guess they're doing this for the cameras back in Greece, perhaps, that are watching this game. I don't think Flamengo like the fact that they've called timeout, though. Yeah, they've definitely upset Flamengo. Well, I guess they have a reason. Maybe we'll find out later. 4.5 seconds. That's bizarre. Maybe they, I don't know why they called the timeout. There's, anyway, we won't let it take the shine off of what it's been a brilliant weekend for AEK. But I'm not sure that they'll be invited to the post-match party by Flamengo after that one. So that's it. Strange finish. Now they're going to hear some boos, I think, for that timeout. But what a great moment. A tremendous game, a tremendous weekend for AEK from Greece. Last year's Basketball Champions League winners. They have claimed an 86-70 victory over Flamengo to win the FIBA Intercontinental Cup. And they deserved it, folks. I mean, they got on top and they just were not going to be caught. And a lot of that quality and experience, and now a little bit of bad blood, I think, from that late timeout. And hopefully this will be nipped in the bud. Anderson Varejão going over to congratulate the players. But again, I'm not sure about that late timeout, if it did anybody any favors. It's a game, a lot of intensity. And hopefully cool heads will prevail here.
Daqui a pouquinho tem 7 premiação do FIBA Intercontinental Cup 2019. Aí uma salva de palmas para a equipe do Flamengo. Uma salva de palmas para
So the Greek double last year, the Greek Cup and Basketball Champions League double last year. Maybe they'll be on for the FIBA Intercontinental Cup and Basketball Champions League double this season. We'll see. A lot of hard games to be won for that to happen. The numbers very impressive, but the biggest stat of the night, you have to say there's two stats: the turnovers by Flamengo and the points off those turnovers for AEK. It was not good for Flamengo. Let's put it that way. 33 points off turnovers for AEK. At one point, they were almost half of their points when they started to open up a big lead. Like, I think they had 50, when they had 54 points, they had almost half of those points off of turnovers. So that was the big problem for Flamengo tonight. They just weren't able to run their offense the way they wanted to. And that all comes down to the great defense played by AEK. And just terrific performances from a whole cast of characters. Let me go through them for you. Delroy James, obviously, he had a great weekend. 12 points. Larinzakis, 10 points. 17 points for Jonas Machulis. 11 points for Sakura tonight. 8 for Howard St. Gros. 22 for Jordan Theodore. I don't know who's going to be the MVP, but I'm guessing it's going to be either James, Theodore, maybe even Machulis. Those would be the front runners for the MVP trophy. Well, these are the highlights. Just enjoy the AEK dominance, really. If you're an AEK fan, your team really executed. You came here, and I think you got the sense that this was going to be your trophy. When you won so convincingly against San Lorenzo, just you could just see the belief in the eyes of the players as they walked off the court on Friday night. They knew they had an opportunity to get a big mid-season trophy. So back home in Greece, you'll have Panathinaikos, who will be happy they won the Greek Cup today. And this AEK team is also going to be awfully happy when they get back as well. I'm sure they'll have a few fans greet them at the airport. Machulis, that has to be one of his best games in the AEK shirt. 17 points from a shooting standpoint, 3 of 4 from three-point range, 5 of 9 overall, 3 rebounds, a couple of steals, a block. Delroy James is just terrific. 12 points, 7 rebounds, a couple of assists, 2 steals, plus 21. Theodore ended up with the highest efficiency, plus 25. Well, the question now for this AEK team is how good can they become for the rest of the season? You know, they're clearly aiming for glory in the Basketball Champions League. The playoffs are going to be starting after the World Cup qualifiers, which will be starting this week, or which will be finishing up this week, the 6th window. And then after that, their intention to turn back to the Basketball Champions League and obviously the Greek League. How good can they become? Well, it looks like they've used this as an opportunity to get better. As for Flamengo, well, they've got the players, and I think they've got all the ingredients to make a title run themselves in Brazil. But this one's going to sting, because whenever you host an event like this, you know you've got a major advantage in that sense. You haven't had to travel. You've got the benefit of the home fans behind you, and the opportunity is there to get the big win. So we're going to have the presentation now for the medals. Flamengo will come out first. So Flamengo wanted the title tonight. They're not going to get it, but they'll come out and get their runners-up medals. Referees first will be recognized. So Roberto Vasquez from Puerto Rico, Michael Whelan from Canada, Johan Rosso from France. Johan's on the right there, Whelan's in the middle. And Vasquez is on the left. Now you can see they're being told stage left. I think they were waiting there for the medals to be presented and nothing was happening. Okay, now they're telling them, where do you want us to go? Doesn't matter how successful you are, how many trophies you've won. You can see that with those Flamengo players, it really burns that they haven't won this one. And Verjao he ended up getting his championship trophy with Golden State. He was injured the year Cleveland won. He's had the awful luck over the years. But again, just a tremendous player, person, and hopefully we'll see him at the World Cup. Brazil still have to qualify. But he's been helping them in that sense in their qualifiers, and we'll be with them again coming up shortly.
the silver medals. E agora entregamos a medalha de
So the silver medals will be presented.
para a equipe do Flamengo.
And Marquinhos comes out leading the way. There's a lot of good players. I really felt like, even though they've got a great, starting 5-6 players, and their guys coming off the bench are good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's this quite the same experience level that you get coming off the bench for AEK, and that was something that really hurt them. But these players will be better for having had this experience today. Boy, Franco Balbi left us with some great highlights, didn't he? So second place for Flamengo, this great club here in Rio de Janeiro. They won it as a club in 2014. Olivinha and Marquinhos were a part of that success. And who knows, maybe they'll make it back next year. It depends. But they were great hosts of this event. And just some long faces. You're not going to see too many smiles after you finish second place, that's for sure.
Mais uma vez, uma salva de palmas de nação para a equipe do Flamengo, por favor.
Virgil was terrific tonight. He could not have done anything else, that's for sure. Virgil finished 21 points, 11 rebounds. So now the MVP trophy is going to be announced. Horacio Moratori, the FIBA president. Who's he going to be?
Number 25, Jordan Theodore.
Well, it goes to Jordan Theodore. I thought it could have been him. It could have been Delroy James. Could have been Jonas Machulis. But there's no question that Theodore deserves it. From the second half of the game on Friday night through to tonight's performance, he was terrific. And the highest rated player efficiency-wise in the game other than Virgil. Virgil was plus 28, and Theodore was plus 25. 22 points, 5 assists, 3 steals, and he just keeps collecting those honors, doesn't he? He was FIBA Europe Cup winner, I remember, with Frankfurt Skyliners. Big part of that. And with Banvit, he was the MVP of the league, the Basketball Champions League, got him to the final. And here he is now joining this team in mid-season and already has collected an MVP award. Patrick Camino's there on the right. He's done such in the middle, in the dark suit, done such an incredible job driving with his leadership with the Basketball Champions League as the chief executive. So here comes AEK, and I'm guessing that they're all pretty hungry as well. They're going to get some of that good Brazilian food that's very good down here. But before that, they're going to get their medals, their team photo, and they're going to lift the trophy. How about Ike shooting 16 of 18 from the free throw line tonight? See Xanthopoulos limping a little bit there. It looks like it's a knee injury or a calf injury. Maybe it's a calf. I'll tell you, they get a lot of production out of him, important production, Xanthopoulos. I mean, this really is a great team they've assembled for Ike. And again, to not really miss a beat following the loss of Kevin Punter, for example, and Mike Green, that speaks highly of this team. Mike Green was actually the Final Four MVP at the Basketball Champions League last year, but they just seem to be moving from strength to strength. And when you win a trophy like this, it just kind of shows you that you're moving in the right direction. From three-point range tonight, the big man, Theodore, 3 of 6. Maciulis, 3 of 4. That was huge. And also, they played under such control. They just had 6 turnovers in the game. But I think what impressed me the most was how they just kind of got across-the-board contributions from everybody tonight. You know, it's not a 1 or 2 or 3-man team. It's not a 4 or 5-man team. This is a team. And it happens to be a team that has some exceptionally good players, but they tend to get contributions from everybody. Look at Sakura. He always seems to save his best for these big moments. The captain, he says, "Where's the trophy? I can feel it. I can taste it." So the Argentinian FIBA president, Horacio Moratori, in the suit, hands it over to Dusan Sakura. Another great moment for Greek basketball. So Sakura says, "Come on down to me. I'm not coming up to you." They're going to lift it. Here it is.
The winner of FIBA Intercontinental Cup, Rio de Janeiro, 2019.
Sometimes you only get one chance to do this. Of course, Maciulis has done this a couple of times with Real Madrid and now with Ike. But you got to make the most of these opportunities when they come along. And this will be another one of those moments in the careers of all these players that they'll never forget. The year that they traveled to Rio de Janeiro in the middle of the season to play in the FIBA Intercontinental Cup, and they won the trophy by beating the hosts of this competition in the final, Flamengo. It's a great moment for Ike, make no mistake about it, and they've got even bigger aims for the rest of this season. They've been pouring their heart and soul into their Basketball Champions League title defense. And obviously they have high aims in the Greek domestic league. But now really is the time to celebrate another trophy. And look at it. All these guys, you know, you look at Maciulis, you look at Malcolm Griffin, Sampouros, all these guys. I mean, you really get the feeling that this is a team that's together. And, well, if you're together, you can achieve a lot. A lot of credit goes to Luca Banchi. That was a great hire. It certainly looks like it was a great hire. And Delroy James, terrific tournament for him. So congratulations once again to Ike. Wonderful job, Flamengo. You had a great tournament as well, just not your day today. So 86-70, Ike have won the FIBA Intercontinental Cup trophy here in Rio de Janeiro. And I dare say they're going to be celebrating all the way back to Greece. Thanks for joining us this weekend, folks. Until next time.